On Ice Hockey UK TV, in association with Intermotor, delighted to be joined by Ice Hockey UK referee-in-chief Colin Davidson. Colin, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Evening. Thanks for having us.
Just want to talk about a lot of things because this is not just a busy time of year for ice hockey teams, whether domestic or international, lots of playoffs, World Championship tournaments, but a busy time for officials as well. We've got a lot of officials going away for tournaments soon. Some already have taken part in prestigious tournaments. Can you just give an overview of what's happening right now for the referee section?
Yeah, definitely. So, as you said, Chris, it is a busy time with playoffs domestically and IHF tournaments. We've had a lot of representation at IHF tournaments, which proves that our programme's working and that we hold ourselves in great esteem with other international federations. We have two A licence holders who have been on tournaments already. We've got Danny Beresford, who's going to Italy shortly for his 1A. Holly Neenan, she's away at the women's. We have had young Joe Sewell, who's been away to Korea for the Youth Olympics. He's also got another tournament coming up as well. So yes, it's hectic for these officials who, after a long season, are going away with IHF.
And there's always good feedback, isn't it? Because if people don't know, the officials are assessed during their tournaments, and you get the feedback as well. And I've been lucky enough to go to a lot of tournaments in my career and often talk to the referee supervisor about what they see, and the feedback is always very positive about UK officials. How good is that feedback to get that time and time again, that the officials that you're sending to these big tournaments are coming back with effectively big ticks and glowing recommendations?
Definitely, it's a great plus for us, and it shows that we're doing something right domestically, and the section is working to get officials to that high end, and also it's proof for us that we're doing the right things when they come into the programme and identifying the talent and working for the officials to get to that top end, which is ultimately the IHF tournaments. And it is great, as you say, for when you get reports back from the IHF that we're all always positive, and it's always a plus.
We'll talk about the next generation in the moment because I know you've got courses coming up. But one of the big things for the officiating program for the referee section is the summer camp, effectively in Nottingham, where you meet over one weekend, and obviously, I've seen it before where there's lots of on ice and off ice activities players go through. Should I say, officials go through fitness tests, obviously, and also there's a lot of rule knowledge retention. Can you just put into words just how important that is in terms of the year ahead for the referee section?
I think it works twofold, Chris. Effectively, it gets every official across all levels together. So there's no. It's part of an inclusion thing there, where the section comes together. Also, IHF bring out their new rulings throughout the summer, so we have to update the officials on the new rules that are going to be implemented throughout the season. As you said, fitness and skating. That helps us identify the talent and identify maybe where we've got more training needs. But it's just a great weekend for everybody to get together, do their fitness, do their skating, and that's prior to the season starting. And obviously, a lot of people mingling with their peers as well, which is great for the section.
We talked about the next talent coming through, and obviously there's an opportunity. You've got some courses coming up in the next few weeks, I think. And how important is it for you to get people to those events and to identify new people to bring into the program?
It's key for the programme, Chris. It's one of the things that, pre-COVID we've struggled with, is recruitment and retention. What's very positive with the next two courses is the younger groups coming in to attend the courses. Prior to these two courses, the Billingham one sort of brought the age gap down, so it was a lot of younger kids that are maybe thinking about stepping over to officiating or doing both, playing and officiating. And the Telford one's fully booked with 40 people on it, and I think a lot of them are still current players, which is great. We're seeing a lot of now younger kids diversifying over to the officiating programme, which, you know, we can give them a great career, as previously mentioned there, with IHF if they've got the right tools.
What can people expect if they were to come on one of these courses?
So initially it would be rule knowledge to a certain extent, because what we're now looking at is, you know, IHF are looking at three key points for rule knowledge. So somebody coming in fresh on a level 1 course, we're not expecting them to know every rule and every tariff. So it's about the basic rules, positioning, being part of a team, working with colleagues, and game knowledge. That's the key points for coming in. And then that helps us. What we're trying to do now is, there's been talk previously, because we're low in numbers, people's been getting flung into games out with their level, if that makes sense. So now we're trying to have a mentor program set up where newer officials coming in are going to be mentored and working with experienced officials to help bring them through and bridge that gap.
And just finally, we're talking about the latest officials and the new generation. An official and somebody that's been involved in the sport for such a long time, over 40 years. Tony Boynton officiated his final domestic game. I think he's going to still do some juniors, isn't he, in the meantime? But what a career Tony's had.
Fantastic. You know, he's pushing 70 now, or he's 70, I think, next month. But you know, he's one that gives back. Nothing phases him. You know, if you say to him, go and work with 2 new level 1 officials, not a problem. He'll go and do it, and he'll still be doing, you know, higher end games, senior games at this age, and you know, he's had a great career. And it's thanks for his commitment and, you know, what he's put back into the sport. Because ultimately, Chris, you know, that we're all there to put something back into the sport and help the sport grow and for the future.
Brilliant. That's a great way to end. Thanks very much, Colin, for joining us on Ice Hockey UK TV in association with Intermotor.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.